What's poppin', YouTube family? It's your girl SHOtheOT, your favorite occupational therapist, here to help you and others live their best lives. Let's get started. Hey, what's up? What's poppin'? I'm back. So I know that I be taking like lengthy breaks in between each video, and I apologize for that. Life is just busy, and I say that every time, so I'm not gonna dwell on that. But one thing I really appreciate about y'all is that the breaks in between does not phase y'all. Like, y'all still be DMing me on Instagram. Y'all still be commenting on my videos. And I love that. I love that y'all still continue to support me even when I'm terrible at being consistent. So I really do appreciate y'all. But that brings me to why I decided to make this video. One girl, I don't remember her name, sorry about that, but she DM'd me one day on Instagram and she asked me a really good question that I never even thought about. She asked me like, hey Sho, I am about to start applying to OT programs, but I just really want to know like how you went about asking for a letter of recommendations. And I never even thought about that. Like, I never thought about that as something that you kind of need to know how to do in order to start applying to OT programs or any graduate program or college. Anything that you need a letter of recommendation for, like, you kind of need to know how to ask. And so that is why today's video is all about how to ask for letter of recommendations, like how to go about it, who do you ask, all those type of things. So hopefully this video is useful to you guys. So yeah, let's get into the video. Okay, so step one. You need a letter of recommendation. Like, you're looking at the requirements for your application to get into this program, and they say, boom, you need some letter of recs. Now, you need to figure out who you're gonna ask, okay? So when they ask for letter of recommendations, most of the time they're asking for professional letter of recommendations. They're not asking for your mama. They're not asking for your daddy because that's not going to help them understand whether or not you would be a good fit for their program. They're not asking for that. So the best bet will probably be to ask a professor, right? So now this brings me to which professor to ask. If you show up late or turn stuff in late to one professor's class, I'm asking you not to ask that person to write you a letter of recommendation, okay? Because they don't really have a good picture of you. They don't see you in a good light. It's not gonna be good for you. So let's not ask that professor. Let's ask a professor who you really enjoy their class, you engage in their class a lot. So when I say engage, that means when they're asking questions, you're one to speak up. You're one to engage in the conversation and the discussion that is happening while you're in class. Also, don't mind me, I am outside because the sun was setting, and then in the spot that I usually record, the sun was putting shadows all over my face, and you know, we don't do that. We need clear. We need it to pop. And so another fun fact about me, I hate bugs. So now I'm about to be on the lookout for bugs while I'm sitting outside on this balcony. So please disregard, okay? Okay, back to what I was saying. But no, yeah, so we're not asking professors that don't have a really good picture of us in their brain when they think of us. We're gonna ask professors who we show up to class on time. We engage in discussions during class discussions. We somewhat go the extra mile in their class. That professor is going to have a great picture of you in their mind when they think of you. Oh, they're gonna hear your name and they're gonna be like, I love that student. I enjoy having them in my class. I enjoy teaching that student. That is the professor that you want to ask. Now, are you a student that hasn't developed that type of relationship with any professor? That's a sticky situation. I kind of was that student at first until I realized how big like connections and networking was, and until I figured that out, then I started kind of putting myself out there a little bit more. So if you're at this spot and you're applying to programs, but yet there's no professor that pops out when you think, oh, like I need a letter of rec, I'm gonna immediately ask this professor. If you don't have that, don't stress. As long as all of your professors aren't professors that have a negative idea of you. If if some of your professors just have a okay idea of you, like, you can work with that. That leads me to my next step in asking for a letter of recommendation. So let's say you are this student who just only has professors that like are nonchalant about you. They don't love you, but they don't hate you either. So that's better than them hating you, okay? Don't panic. Okay, so let's go to our next step. So when you are reaching out to your professor, you want to immediately introduce yourself and just make it seem like them even considering writing this letter of recommendation for you is just making your entire life complete. Like, and I'm being serious. Like, you don't have to be corny, but you just have to let them know that you really, really, really appreciate them taking the time to even consider writing the letter of recommendation for you. And that goes 10 times over for those of you who do not have professors that absolutely adore you. And while you're also letting the professor know that you are grateful that they're considering writing your letter of recommendation, you also want to make them feel like they are like the end all be all for you, that nobody else was on your list of consideration for them to write a letter of recommendation for, okay? You want to make them feel like they were the only professor that came to your mind when you knew that you needed a letter of recommendation. So if you're reaching out to a professor, you want to start off your email kind of like, "Good evening, Dr. Johnson. I am just writing this email to ask a humongous favor of you. The reason I am asking you in particular is because I really enjoy your class. I love the discussions that we have in your class. The content is always so enlightening to me. I always find myself pondering on the discussions that we have outside of class as well, and doing further research. Just buttering them up, okay? Like, don't make it sound too corny. That what I just said probably was a little much, but make them feel like their class and what they teach you really does it for you. Like, I don't know how else to say it, but like, truly let them know that you are grateful that they are considering writing that letter of recommendation for you. Let them know that they are the one. You wanted no letter of recommendation from nobody else but them. Let them know that whatever they teach you in class fills you with so much joy that only they could write you the letter of recommendation that you deserve. Okay, in some way or fashion. Just that's what you have to portray through your email or through your discussion if you're asking them in person. What else should you include? And if you are one of those students that don't have a professor that absolutely loves you, you also kind of want to include some background information about you. So if they do say they would agree, include a little blurb about you. So where you come from, why you're interested in whatever program that you're applying for, all those good things, just so they have some information to throw into the letter of recommendation that lets the admissions committee of whatever program you're applying to know that this person does actually know you and they are a good representative of information when it comes to you. So yeah, that's kind of like the process that I kind of went through when I asked for my letter of recs. So I guess I can talk about some do's and don'ts. If you recall in my example that I just gave, I didn't say, "What up, Sarah? What up, Emily? What up, Brenda?" I didn't say that when I was introducing myself when I asked them for a letter of recommendation. You're gonna call them whatever you call them in class is what you should be calling them in the email or in person when you go speak to them. So your best bet is probably just saying, "Hello, Professor," whatever their name is, okay? We're not calling them by first names. I mean, my professors, they allowed us to call them by first name in class. So if I asked, I probably would have been like, "Professor first name." Like, I'm not just gonna call them their first name. Like, I'm not just gonna do that. I would have probably said "Professor first name" to just make it sound a little bit more professional. Yeah, what else should you not do? Oh, if the deadline for the application is in 2 days, you're not asking them 2 days before the application is due. You need to give them at least, and this is at least because these people are busy, and the fact that they're taking the time out of their busy schedule to write you a letter of recommendation, you should be appreciative of that. So you need to be giving them at least 2 weeks, and honestly, that's pushing it in my opinion. I would give them a month, honestly. Tell them a month out, like, hey, this application is due this day, or whenever you want to submit it. So like, oh, hi, I'm planning on submitting my application this day, which is a month away. I would greatly appreciate it if you would be willing to write me a letter of recommendation. So that way you've told them a month out. If they agree, you can check in at 2 weeks, like, hey, how's it coming along? Just checking in to make sure that you have everything you need in order to write this letter of recommendation for you. Okay, so that's giving them ample time. A month is ample time to write a short and sweet letter of recommendation for somebody. What else? Also, when you're asking for your letter of recommendation, make sure you have all the information up front. As soon as you're asking someone else to partake in your application process, you should be ready to answer whatever questions they have. So if they say agree to write this letter of recommendation for you, and then they come back with, oh, like, where should I submit this letter of recommendation? You should have that answer. You should know all the things about the application process so that when they ask you a question, you're ready to answer. So it doesn't look like you don't know what the heck you doing. So now they like, maybe I really don't want to write this letter of recommendation for you. Just be prepared. So when you're reaching out to somebody else, that should be signaling, okay, it's a bug, y'all. It's a bug. It's a bug. It's a bug. What I'm gonna do? What I'm gonna do? It's like, yo, it's by my phone. What do I do? It's a bee. It's a bee. It's on my stand right now. It's literally crawling on my stand right now. What the heck do I do? I can't do this. Jesus. It is simply crawling on my stand. It is on my chair now. It has taken over my video spot. Okay.
A few minutes later.
Okay, y'all, I'm back, but we about to make this short, sweet, and to the point because I don't do bugs, none of the sort. Okay, I don't even remember what I was saying last, but be prepared, be professional, and yeah, and be proactive. Those 3 P's: prepared, professional, and proactive. I don't even know where that just came from, but now I'm paranoid that this bug is gonna come back. So thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And if I rushed this at the end because I'm scared, I'm so sorry. Yeah, like, comment, and subscribe. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. This is a terrible ending to this video. I hope the rest of the information was good, y'all. Okay, I can't, this is too much. I'm stressed now. I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.
Bye.